Morning, guys. Right, so we'll start with the homework. You were using the general term to find the first, second, third, and 100th term. Okay, so the first general term, Tn, is 2n plus 5. Okay, so when we're trying to get the first term, that's when n is 1. So we do 2, and then in place of the n, we're going to put in a 1, and then plus 5. Brackets mean multiply, so 2 multiplied by 1 is 2 plus 5, and 2 plus 5 is 7. The second one then, they want the second term. Second term is when n equals 2. So this time, we're going to replace the n with a 2. So 2 bracket 2 means 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4. And then we have plus 5. And 4 plus 5 is 9. The third one is the third term. So we let n equal 3. So this time we're going to replace the n with a 3. 2 bracket 3 means 2 multiplied by 3, so that's 6 plus 5, and 6 and 5 is 11. And the last one we have to do, let's see if I can use a slightly different blue colour just so it looks different. Got this one. So the last one is the 100th term. So we let n equal 100. I'm just going to put my 100 here, hang on. And go back. So this time we do 2 and we replace the n with 100. So 2 bracket 100 means 2 times 100, and 2 times 100 is 200, plus 5 is 205. So there are your 4 answers for part A. The first term is 7, the second term is 9, the third term is 100, the third term is 11, and then the 100th term is 205. Okay, so we'll go on and do B. The general term for B is 5n minus 1. Okay, so same 4 terms that they're looking for. So the first term is when n equals 1. So we take the formula and we're going to change the n into a 1. So 5 bracket 1 means 5 multiplied by 1, which is 5 minus 1, and 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay, the second one is actually the second term, so we let n equal 2. So we take the formula, but this time we're going to replace the n with a 2. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 1. So the answer for the second one is 9. The third one is the third term. So we're going to let n equal 3. So we take the formula and we replace the n with a 3. 5 bracket 3, 5 multiplied by 3, so that is 15 minus 1, which is 14. 14, there you go. Okay, so the last one is the 100th term. So we're going to let n equal 100. I'm just going to put the 100 in. So we do the formula and we replace the n with 100. 5 times 100 is 500, minus 1 is 499. So there you go. Oh. Okay, so 4 answers for the first one and 4 answers for the second one, and that's what you should have got. 7, 9, 11, 205, and then 4, 9, 14, 499. Okay, I'm just going to highlight the answers just in case. So 7, 9, 11, 205, and then 4, 9, 14, and 499. Okay. Right. So please let me know if you didn't get some of them and you're not 100% sure why you didn't get some of them. Okay. So what we're going to do today is, in those questions there, you were given the general term and you were asked for like the first term, the second term, the third term. What we're going to do here is we're going to give you the first term, the second term, the third term, and ask you to figure out the general term. Okay? Now, this is tricky, okay? This is algebra. I told you this chapter was the introduction to algebra. So this is algebra. So it is tough, okay? So I suppose give yourself a break. I don't expect you to look at it the first time and get it. The beauty of it being a video is that you can rewind it and watch it again and watch it again and watch it again. It's practice, okay? That's what you need here. You need to practice, 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 okay? So in the homework questions like this one here, you were given a general term and you were asked, what is the first, what is the second, what is the third, what is the 10th, what is the 100th term? Okay, now what we're going to do is the opposite. Okay, so I'm going to give you the first, the second, the third, the fourth term, and you're going to figure out what the general term is. Okay, so your answer is going to look something like what's in that circle there. Okay, right, so let me show you. Here we go. Right, so we'll start. I know I skipped over loads there, but I'm gonna fill it all back in. Okay, so we'll start with this one here. 2, 7, 12, 17. Okay, and the question is, find the general term. Okay, so there is a formula for the general term. This is it. And you will be given this in an exam. Okay, you don't need to learn it. So in your summer exams, for example, I will give you that formula. You don't need to remember the formula by heart. You just need to know how to use it. Okay? So let's go through it. The TN, we already know what that means. That's the symbol for the general term. Okay. A is the start term of the sequence. Okay, so A is literally the starting term. The first term of the sequence is what A is. Yeah? N stands for the term number. And that will actually stay in your answer. So we're going to replace A with a number and we're going to replace D with a number, but we won't replace N. N will actually be in your answer, just like I said it should be. So up here, I said your answer was going to look something like this. See the way it has an N? So yours will have an N. Okay? And then the last bit of the formula is D, and D is the common difference, which we've done already. Okay, so if we look here, from 2 to 7 is +5, from 7 to 12 is plus 5, and from 12 to 17 is plus 5. So there's D, your common difference. Okay? Sorry, I'm trying to move this down a little bit. There you go, very unsuccessfully. Okay, so now we're going to sub in. Okay, so substitution is an algebraic skill. So again, this is new to you. Okay, so Tn stays as Tn. The thing that comes after Tn is an equals, so I write down the equals. The next thing then is the A, but I'm going to replace A with a number. Okay, remember A stands for the starting term of the sequence, and the starting term of this sequence is a 2. So I'm going to get rid of A and change it into a 2. After the A comes a plus, so I'll write that down. After that we get a bracket. So I'm here now. Yeah. I said the n won't be replaced, so leave the n where it is. Minus 1 bracket. Okay, so I just copied that down. Next is D. Okay, D is the common difference, and I am going to replace that. So in this sequence, the common difference is 5. So I'm going to put a 5 there. Okay? Right. Now, I said in was it the homework we were doing? Yeah, it was, in the homework, that brackets mean multiply. Okay? So if you look at this bit here, that bit there, that 5 is being multiplied by that bracket. But there's 2 things in the bracket, okay? Which means there's 2 multiplications there, okay? So the ones we had for homework was like 5 bracket 2. So it was 5 multiplied by 2 because there was only 1 thing in the bracket, so we just did that and got 10. This is different, okay? Because the 5 is being multiplied by this bracket and there's 2 things in the bracket, you need to do 2 multiplications. Okay, so we're going to take the 5. Now, here you go with your first bit of algebra. You need to take this 5 and you need to multiply it by the first part of the bracket, and you need to multiply it by the second part of the bracket. Okay, so next line down. The 2 is not involved with the bracket, so the 2 just stays where it is. Same with the plus. The plus is not involved, so we just leave that as it is. Yeah? Okay. Now, we're going to multiply 5 by n. When you multiply a number by a letter, we can't, as in, you know, if you multiply a number by a number, you multiply, 6 by 3. That's a multiplication that can be done because it's between numbers. Okay, when you multiply a number by a letter, you can't do it, as in it doesn't change into anything else. It simply becomes 5n. Okay, so if I were to multiply 6 by s, don't need the bracket there because I used the multiply sign. If I were to multiply 6 by s, I would get 6s. If I were to multiply 10 by a, I would get 10a. If I multiply 8 by or, I would get 8or. So when you multiply a number by a letter, you just simply write them together. There's nothing we can really do there. You just write them together. Okay? So 5 multiplied by n being the first part of the bracket. It's a number by a letter, so I just write them side by side, and we normally put the number first. So it would be weird to say n5. We normally say 5n. Okay? Then next thing here is the minus. And then the next multiplication is easier because it's just 5 multiplied by 1, which we can do. So that's 5. Okay, and we're nearly there. The last part here, what we need to do is we need to recognize that because we're using algebra here and we have letters involved, that we have different families. Okay, so if we look here, this 5n is obviously a number and a letter. Now, if we look at this one, is that a number and a letter? No, it's just a number, so that's different. What about the other one? What about this one here? Is that a letter? No, again, that's just a number. So to be in the same family, you have to have the exact same properties, I suppose. So if we look, right, hang on, I'll give you an example, right, watch this. So if I did like 6x plus 2y plus 8x plus 9y plus 4. Okay? Can you pick out the families? Okay, so this one here has the letter X, and so does this one here. So that means they're in the same family, and if you're in the same family, you can be added together. Okay? Is there any other families in this one? Here is a 2 and the letter is Y. So is there anything else from the Y family? Yes, there is. So they will be, sorry, hang on, there you go. So they will be added together because they're from the same family. Now at the end here then I have just a 4. The 4 doesn't have an X on it, so it's not in the X family, and it doesn't have a Y on it, so it's not in the Y family, so it's on its own. It doesn't have anyone to pair up with. Okay? And then what we would do is you just literally add them. So if we have 6 X's here and 8 X's here, how many X's do I have in total? I have 14 X's in total. I have 6 of them and 8 of them. That makes 14 of them. Yeah? And then my Y family, I have 2 of them and 9 of them. So in total, I have 11 of them. And then, like I said, my 4 can't combine with anything, which means it doesn't change. It's just a 4. Okay? So that's kind of what I'm getting at over here. Okay? That 5n, the other 2 numbers that are in the question don't have an n, so it's on its own. Okay? So we just write it down. And that will always happen. The n doesn't ever have any family to pair with. Now, let's look at the numbers though. So this is just a number 2. It has no n, it has no x, it has no or, it has no letter whatsoever. And then if you look at 5, it also doesn't have any letters. So they're a family. Okay? So you do the sum because you're allowed to. So you take the 2. You can type it into your calculator if you want to, but we did this when we did integers. So you take the 2 and you minus 5. So in your calculator, you're typing in 2 minus 5, and that should give you minus 3. And now you have the general term. Okay? Now, like I said, that is tough. Okay? There's 2 algebra concepts there. The first one was multiplying the 5 by the 2 parts of the bracket. And then the second one was identifying families. Okay? So that's really, really tricky. So what I want you to do is play this a couple of times, try and understand where I'm getting the numbers from, and then I want you to try one question. Okay? So what I want you to do, okay, hang on. So Thursday the 25th of February for Taylor and Cluxton. Friday the 26th of February for McGrath. Yeah, just gonna pull this out a little bit. There you go. Okay, so find the general term for the following sequence. Okay, so I'm expecting that you will need to do that, watch that video a couple of times. I am expecting that you'll probably need to watch the video while you're trying this question. So I'm giving you one question to do. Please give it time and try and apply what I just showed you to these numbers. Okay, so I'm only giving you one to do, and then we're going to practice loads more on Monday. Or on Friday, sorry. Totally confused. Well, Thursday or Friday. No, hang on. Today is, Monday. I was right the first time. Okay, so watch this back and make sure you can pick out each part of the question. Okay, try and get the general term for this sequence. Now, everybody needs to try it, and everybody needs to put an attempt in their OneNote homework section. It's very, very hard to help you if you just don't write anything down. I have nothing to go on. So I need you to try it. Even if you try it and fail, just try it. And then on Monday, we're going to practice like another 3 or 4 of these. And you will see how similar they are. Okay? They'll get easier just because they're so repetitive. Okay? It's the same thing over and over and over. All right? So give it a go. And please don't be too hard on yourselves because it is tough. But just give it a bit of effort. Okay? All right, thanks guys.